Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the English broadcast of the Chinese LPL. We just witnessed RNG pick up a 2-0 victory over TOP. We're going to get into the second match very shortly. It's going to be Rogue Warriors taking on Invictus Gaming. Barento, as well as Zach, what are you guys' thoughts on this first match? Oh, sorry, second match.
I mean, this is an exciting matchup from the rosters alone, which is something that we spoke about at the top of the day. That is the place that does excite me the most because we have the battle of my two favorite mid laners, and I only chose one of them as my favorite, by the way. The rest of you chose it for me. Just saying.
Which one is that? Rookie or Doinby?
You love Doinby, don't you?
I chose Rookie.
You're a Doinby fan, right? Well, I'm pretty sure you're a Doinby fan.
But apparently I am #1 Doinby fan in the world. So I'm just going to roll with it. I am now both of their #1 fans, and you can't take that from me.
I'm just saying, yeah, you already talked about it. The mid lane matchup is pretty hype. Rookie has been a stellar, probably just honestly, I'm just going to say the best mid laner in LPL for a very long time.
Wouldn't argue.
So that's just a big case for it. Now we're going to see the front man for Rogue Warriors going up against them. And it's not, like, here's the thing about this. You think, oh, it's hyped up mid lane versus mid lane, but Doinby has been playing his same old supportive style. He's even brought in Lulu of all picks. So it's fun to see him just basically pick up any support champion and then get the support item, just the Frostfang, and go into the ghosties and try to run you down.
It's the lead singer against the roadie that's just trying to carry all the things for the rest of the team. Like, you've actually got the front man in Rookie, and then you've got the person who's supporting the rest of the team.
Yes.
And granted, Doinby does have a lot of cool players to support now on the new Rogue Warriors lineup.
I mean, we were talking about this matchup earlier, and we think that it's going to be, a fairly close match between Rogue Warriors as well as Invictus Gaming, and top to bottom, there's so many interesting matchups. So let's go straight to the top lane, where the Shy will now be playing as well. What do you think of that?
Ooh, I will say, from the very beginning, the Shy is an incredible laner. Like, that's the biggest part about it. It's fun because whenever we talk about the top 5 top laners in the LPL, you put Duke and the Shy both in that.
Yeah.
So IG have a lot of tools in that aspect. And what the Shy brings is incredible laning. He can bring out his Fiora. He can bring out any carry for that instance. But when he brought in the tanks, he has the same kind of strength in lane coming out with CS leads. But the one deficit that he does has is kind of like losing focus in team fights, and that's why Duke has the up on that one.
Yeah, and of course they're able to substitute each other out as IG pleases. Duke always on the side on the bench. In this case, he did play in the first set, however, and looked quite alright, honestly, Duke, coming back into the 2018 season, and that is someplace that we have to look at. Yeah, the Shy, very good laning, has got so many solo kills. He was a Riven main, so he knows the limits of champions in laning phase. Every Riven does this. They know exactly when they're able to all in. Up against Mouse, who is a tank player, plays a lot of carries though, isn't known for carries, but that's what he started on. And then every team seems to be like, all right, listen here, Mouse, you're playing Maokai, there's nothing you can do about it. But at the moment, he's in his carry phase, and that's very exciting for the matchup.
See, I wonder if IG decide to ban out Alawi here, because Alawi's that one solo lane that you don't want to go up against. It doesn't matter who you are, you don't want to fight an Alawi. And that's what Mouse played the last time we saw him on the Off English Day. So I want to see what happens, just from the ban alone.
Well, while we're on the topic of top lane picks, we covered bottom lane tank picks earlier on in the day.
Yes.
Is it very similar to the top side of the map? Because normally we see bottom lane tanks, it's normally in the top lane, but this time around, not too many top lane tanks appearing in the LPL.
Yeah, there's a few. Ornn is one of the most prolific ones that will always stand out, and we have seen some Maokais. But I feel like aside from those two, it's primarily carries that you're going to be seeing up there. Camille's one of the highest priority picks that is just running around. RNG even flexed it in their last set as well, so that's how big of a deal it is that the other team doesn't get it regardless.
Yeah.
I would say, yes, there are tanks up there. Mouse will probably play Ornn, and I feel like Duke is the Ornn player for IG. I don't think it will happen this time around. I have a feeling that we might get some epic Camille Fiora battles.
Yeah, it's going to be a big question about what Mouse is willing to play, because it seems like this is the split where he's starting to branch out into the carries. Maybe he goes back to Jace. Maybe that's a thing for him. But Maokai is definitely a possibility, and if that's the case, it's very smart from IG to pull in the Shy for this specific set, just to see what he can do and what damage he can do versus Mouse, because big thing about Rogue Warriors, they don't necessarily have subs. So if game 1 falls from the top lane, they don't have a secondary option. IG, if it doesn't work out too well and if team fights are becoming a problem for them, and if laning phase is not that relevant, then game 2, they can immediately bring in Duke.
Yeah. Well, what do we expect to be supporting these top lane champions, especially because when we move into the jungle, I know earlier before we jumped into Desperate, so you're going to say this was a Lee sin-off, but we've also seen flex picks like the Camille earlier from Malasanko as we see the lineups coming from the two teams. What can we expect from the two junglers? Because we've already seen fantastic plays from Flawless.
I mean, we watched the top 5 plays of the LPL for the week 1 so far. There was 2 Lee Sin highlights at number 2 and number 1. They were both flawless. That's how good he is at playing the champion. But besides the Lee Sin, you're looking at the Jarvan and the Kha'Zix. I don't think we're going to get any Sejuanis from these guys. Once again, as we mentioned, the top lane, it's got tanks, it's got carries. The same thing applies and carries through to the jungle role. But these rosters, they can do it, but they're very much averse to having to do it unless they absolutely need to. And I feel like we're getting the Jarvan into the Lee Sin battle.
I agree. It feels like when it comes to both of these teams, they are more flexible when it comes to the jungle pick, so that's going to be a good place to start.
Well, as both our analysts have already said, it's probably going to be a very close match, and it's the match of the day. Rogue Warriors taking on Invictus Gaming. We're going to send it over to our analysts. It's going to, to our casters. It's Pulse and Frostgurn.
我觉得这版本马尔扎哈、上皇、瑞兹、卡萨丁这4个英雄都很厉害，我觉得这版本很适合我。然后我想跟 Rookie 对线，是因为我们上次 NEST 我在京东的时候输给 IG 了嘛，这次我想跟 Rookie 对线。
Thank you so much, Fish. Welcome back to the LPL and Pulse. I've got Frostgurn with me. I've got Hotswat's my color caster. How are you doing? This is your first cast, right?
Yeah, this is my first cast of 2018 and my first cast for the LPL, so I'm pretty
spent with me.
Pretty stoked.
And that obviously makes it way better, of course.
Obviously. Makes it much better.
But we're coming into this matchup, and of course, I'm very excited to cast some IG as well. We've already seen them, but Rookie, and we're still riding the Jackulov hype train as well.
Yeah, and unfortunately IG did fall down. Earlier Jackulov didn't get quite the big showing that he wanted to, but it was a very tough schedule that they faced, RNG straight out of the gate, so careers were supposed to be made or broken in that best of 3, but it didn't end up that way.
Yeah, it was a little bit awkward in the end, but still, they're going up today against Rogue Warriors, and this should be an easier match for them. I say easier, this is still a match that could go either way, because they are more towards the middle of the table. If we're looking at IG in terms of the conversation of the top side, Rogue Warriors not too far away.
Yeah, so it's very interesting when you look at that group and you look at the big heavy hitters. Of course, you got RNG, you have Invictus Gaming, but then it's kind of a race for 3rd place. And I know, speaking earlier in the week, Clement said, you know, Rogue Warriors probably a very solid 3rd place team in this group, but I don't know if that's necessarily good enough, especially for all of the defeat that guy on your screen right there, Doinby, has really suffered. You know, he played formerly on JD Gaming. They were basically last place, barely scraping in for playoffs, and so he wants to excel. This team, Rogue Warriors, is known as kind of the revenge team, the comeback team. They've got SMLZ, Doinby, Mouse, all of these players who are looking to really say, you know, it was our teams that were holding us back, and we can be the superstars.
Those are a lot of people saying bronze, but Rogue Warriors is actually the real deal.
Just my team.
But for me, it was like very much FPX and RW coming in. It's just like, man, these teams have very much been made up of like either subs or starters from other teams who look really good, honestly. And what we've seen so far from them, they may actually live up to the hype. And SMLZ, one of my favorite players to watch as well. You're going to see him in the bottom lane
so much
today.
Emotion. Just pouring
every single
out
time
him.
you see him on camera, the guy is just jumping out of his seat, and he's going up against Jackulov as well, and it's just like, hey kid, now you've actually got to prove yourself against one of the most stable AD carries in the league.
Yeah, and one of the most veteran and experienced ones as we look at the coaches. It's Steak versus Mafa behind them. Now, Steak is known for how he sculpts and creates these beautiful jungle mid 2v2 duos, and with someone like Flawless and Doinby, this is why people are excited about Rogue Warriors. They want to see the theoretical potential that these guys can unleash from each other.
So we're hoping to see that in the picks as well to get into Champion Select. First pick of Kalista, I mean, it's been left open, so why not ban it? But let's go through some of the bans. Zoe, of course, off the table, despite us not seeing it in the last set. Camille taken away in the top lane, and Ezreal as well from Rogue Warriors.
What's really interesting to me is the fact that 3 out of the big 4 mid laners, so Malzahar, Ryze, and Zoe have been gone, which means that Azir is the next big go-to, and Rogue Warriors are choosing to prioritize Kalista over the Azir. Maybe they feel safer because the Camille is also banned from blue side, so it offers a lot of safety for Kalista, you know, a very heavy mobile ADC. Really the only champions that can throw a wrench in her plan are the likes of the Maokais and the Camille's that can just immediately jump on top of her.
True, an early pick of the Gangplank, in fact, for the Shy, who is playing this game. Last time we saw Duke, and now we get to see the Shy sit in that spot. Tam Kench already prioritizing the support pool. Of course, Brom still up as well. RW wants to clinch that one before we get to the second phase. Azir, as you said, Frost will be picked up for the mid lane for RW.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to me that they prioritize Tahm Kench over the likes of Azir. I like the Gangplank. GP right now very heavily prioritizing the LCK. We saw it once in Europe just yesterday, and it's such a good blind pick top laner because he really doesn't have any bad matchups. There are worse matchups, but GP can pretty much just survive anything, farm it out, has multiple itemizations of how he wants to run the lane either defensively or offensively, and then just be that terror post-lane phase.
Strong against anything apart from the Urgot, am I right, which we saw yesterday, which unfortunately
Tell me
lost.
who won that game?
I don't want
Was
to
it
recount
Urgot?
It wasn't. But IG, they'll take the Varus as well for Jackie Love in the first rotation, now looking towards the second phase of bans. Also to recap what IG banned earlier, Conwell, Rise and Malzahar with the Alistair now as well, so starting to hit that support pool. I wonder if Brom will be joining in momentarily.
So I really like the Varus
Yes.
pickup here because I feel like it gives Tahm Kench actually priority in lane phase. Normally when we have all of these tank supports running around, it means that A, we're going to have fairly boring bot lanes where nothing happens, but you know, B, you're that much more reliant on the ADC to be finding lane priority. So someone like Varus, even though he's not technically a hyper carry, although with his Rage Blade build, he can certainly output the damage that a hyper carry would, offers the immediate lane control no matter what his support is, which is why I kind of like him as a good flex pick in between the hyper carry ADCs and the utility ADCs.
And just raise some question marks of what RW are going to pick up now for their support role. I mean, something like a Rakan still available for them if they want it, but they can't
never
move towards the tank matchups.
I don't think Rakan will ever be seen in the meta outside of Xayah. I think he just
saw him.
What? No, but he was with Xayah.
We're going to see him again!
This is why I don't like this, is because he has such a terrible lane phase. And across from Tahm Kench, you know, that might be okay, but he just gets shoved in. So he almost has to be with Xayah because Xayah is going to carry him through the lane phase, and you don't just get blasted right there. I like the Shin so much more in this opportunity. It offers you kill pressure much early on, so much more tank, and the ability to play the entire map.
Okay, you win this round for us, Kieran.
It just doesn't make sense, Pulse!
Nidalee as well for Flawless. He's going to get his hands on that. And it's also very exciting to see Flawless on the starting roster now for RW and how aggressive he is. So the highlight reel as well from him in our off days. That was very cool to see. And IG on their final pick now. We also forgot to mention that Lee Sin was an instant pick from Ning. And then
So
Syndra for the
much
mid lane for Rookie.
Syndra, she was pretty much not seen globally at all, and now
Nope.
we've got two Syndras back to back. And of course, it is Rookie, so
Yeah.
he is known for his Syndra play, but she's kind of been edged out a little bit. I'm actually really surprised that Rookie didn't go towards Orianna.
To be fair, it's a Rookie and Xiaohu day, so if you, in terms of sample size,
That's
it's
true.
probably just the two players. Like, I'm sure tomorrow we'll see less of a priority on the pick, but who knows? It's the LPL. But now we have the full composition, so we've got the Lee Sin and jungle alongside the Syndra, but I'm looking towards the Nidalee and the Azir, because you were saying very much about Stake wanting it to be a strong mid lane and jungle. Is this a strong mid lane and jungle?
Yes, the poke, of course. I mean, you look at Nidalee, you look at Azir, their poke and their ability to long range, not engage, but whittle people down is so strong together, and then you put Primal Surge on Azir, that attack speed certainly helps him, so Nidalee has so many viable targets for transferring out of her aggressive early phase into more of the utility late game phase. You know, she can tag the Gnar, she can hit the Azir, she can always hit Callista.
That sign had
Great
SMLZ
fans.
smiling.
Look at him smiling right there.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, excited to see SMLZ as well. Honestly, as I said, one of my favorite players to watch because he was just so consistent, but also aggressive. Like, he will make calculated aggressive plays. And that was just cool to see, because in the LPL, usually people jump in, and I just have flashbacks of, like, Imp on Corki just running in and dying. And this is, like, typically what a lot of AD carriers do, but this guy mixes aggression while still tempering it.
Yeah, and I know you're excited about SMLZ, but I mean, the featured matchup has to be Rookie versus Doinby. You see, Doinby,
It's always the mid lane.
he's just, you know, shaking his shoulders, stretching, getting into it. He knows it's going to be a pretty intense lane phase. It doesn't matter what side of the matchup Rookie happens to be on. He always seems to come out ahead.
Yeah, into Doinby as well, and it's very much going to be the 2v2. Like, that's the 1v1 in the mid lane, but also the junglers and how they can interact, because Ning is starting to get real good. Like, yes, he came onto the scene last spin and we were like, okay, taking over from Kid. Sometimes Kid was even coming back in to solve some of the problems of IG, but got to the point where Ning is just straight up the starter now, and he's actually making things happen for his team by himself. So another thing to track, we've pretty much spoken about all the lanes at this point, it was to get into game, and the crowd also very much behind IG. It's been a full house all day.
Yeah, the thing that you need to understand is that this for me is the game of the day. RW versus Invictus Gaming. This should be skirmish heavy, very intense, super creative players, and I'm stoked to get to cast it.
Doinby, he's pushing up. Oh, he's got the Jade skin as well. And Rooky's just running the classic.
So let's focus our attention on the junglers, because I have a feeling, I mean, obviously jungle usually demands the early portion of the game, but Nidalee into Lee Sin. I like the fact that both Flawless and Ning kind of threw down the gauntlet. It was going to be heavily skirmish. I'm going to put emphasis on Flawless. He needs to really show up. We saw Peanut take Nidalee in the LCK and really gamble on some aggressive invade plays, and while that's totally fine to do, and I really respect the opinion, because when you play Nidalee, you have to be aggressive, you have to get those early leads so you can bridge your power to mid and late game. If you stumble, if you fall, if something goes wrong, you're pretty much donezo, and you're just relegated to being a utility like the old school Athene's heal bot.
Bad to real bad, and that's also going to suck for Doinby as well. I guess in the late game, if they do still make it there, then he'll at least get the attack speed buff, and that's all Nidalee will ever be to him. But yeah, Doinby would very much appreciate if the jungle didn't completely collapse.
You're nothing to me, but so far we can see Flawless's pathing. He's actually going buff to buff, so red to blue, and this means that he can immediately be a good enough level that he can start scouting out, so I expect him to probably start scouting out into the river, as we're watching an elongated bot lane trade.
It is a trade, but is it a trade if one party doesn't get anything?
I suppose he just kind of watched it happen, and this is what I was talking about Varus. You know, Papa Smithy was making the comments that with the Relic Shield starts, which you can see both our AD carries taking, and Overheal being such a consistent runes, that there's not a lot of pressure or damage that's happening in the bot lane. So if everything's so safe down there, you can play a hyper carry and not ever be punished for it. But then we still see such high Varus priority, who's more of that poke champion, even though Common isn't such a high keystone as it was, say, at All-Stars.
Sure. Actually taking a look at some of the top laner stats as well, and what a surprise. Lower kill participation, but high CSG at 10. That's what I'm talking about. Shy always was up there winning his laning phase. And Mouse is actually one of those players who just either goes even or slightly behind, and now he's on a team like Rogue Warriors, where he's the starter. So I think over a bigger sample size, I'm keen to see what Mouse can bring to the top lane.
And unfortunately, Mouse got a bad reputation. The Western fans aren't necessarily the highest on him. He never really showed his potential internationally, but there's a reason why EDG put so much stock in him, and now Rogue Warriors.
Ooh, the Q misses out from Flawless. This might signal Nian, just kidding. Gonna gobble up the AD carry, and Baolan will walk it on out.
Isn't Tom Kinch so much fun?
Oh yeah, he's highly interactive.
Just makes League of Legends so entertaining to watch. That said, I understand that there's a lot of kill pressure down here with Kahlua on the Shin. That is one of the cool things about the Shin support. Normally we've seen unsealed Spellbook Shin in the LPL. This time around he's running Aftershock, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with since he's now committed into Ignite.
There's a lot of damage in the mid lane. It's not going to be any Ignites though from that side, but the red buff starting to tick down. Doinby had to take a trip back to base, playing some Go on the way out.
But the thing is this gank was set up because Flawless revealed himself bottom, which I don't think there was a lot of potential in that gank, especially because Tom Kinch is there. Like, maybe that spear hits, maybe you get the burst damage, but chances are you're not even going to get a summoner, which they didn't. And because Ning then got the information from Flawless bottom, he now forces out both summoners in the mid lane. So big victory for Invictus Gaming, and I think Flawless just chose the wrong lane.
Yeah, or maybe SMLZ was like, please help me, I'm getting wrecked. Please, I need some pressure.
Which Flawless, what he should be doing is targeting Ning. He should be tracking him.
Baolan chasing after, almost gets the gobble on the bot lane, but Chloe will flash away.
And just free summoners, and Ning's like, I know you
All
see me, but
my job is done.
I'll be
you
back.
Didn't do anything.
All me. Stretches. You're welcome.
Don't worry, kids.
That's how I jungle in solo queue.
Yeah. I am aware. Bot lane going to be pushing in here. There's a big mini wave amassing, so SMLZ should be able to catch up in the farm.
But they need to do something with it. So they've now unlocked Doinby. He's rotating up, or they call it a shift, shifting up, and there should be a dive on the gangplank.
I think he's recognized something's on its way. Has been tagged out there by the boomerang.
The minion wave's not prepped, and they're too scared.
Yeah, not going to happen. But yeah, GP, as long as he just gets out the laning phase, he comes out with so much gold with Kleptomancy, it's absolutely absurd. So they got 3 slice sacks of gold. He popping those consumables as well. Rocky's actually pathing towards the top side now. Has been spotted out by this ward. I don't think... No, Sky's Bloom didn't catch that ward. And Ning is controlling the top side now, so he's pathing towards here. But yeah, the top side is essentially just farming it out.
which is never the good case. I mean, Pulse, you just talked about it. If GP gets out of his lane, he gets so much gold. And if he's ever into an area first, his team fight ability is actually quite terrifying. So far, the first 5-6 minutes of this game, I actually give an advantage to Invictus Gaming.
Yeah.
Flawless's gank really didn't buy them anything. He's not keeping good track of Ning, and Ning is just being far more effective on the map. And so far, these lanes outscale.
And the mid lane is actually equal in terms of those minions, but if you look at the CS score, 52-39. So Rookie is actually just winning in the 1v1 as well by himself. So 100% you can say the advances in the early game goes to Invictus Gaming. Just looking at the stopwatches as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8.
They're now viable, which I think is what kind of drew the gank away from Rogue Warriors. They were looking top and they're like, oh, but the stopwatches, they're not really ready yet.
Yep.
We'll play it safe.
Maybe in a little bit. The Mouse gets his first back of the game. Actually goes for the boots here to see if he can harass down the Shy just a little bit more. So mitigate the damage coming out from those parlays. What are we going to get? So cashes in the extra gold that he gets. Start that potion. I'm going to go Sheen. Actually just doesn't care about the laning phase at all. So Sheen Phage goes back into top lane. Even though he uses teleport to the top lane, it's like, you know what, I'll just use my ultimate to help anything on the opposite side of the map. It's
He
all
understands what he wants to do. He wants to win those trades, and he wants to be a bully. And he's certainly got enough ward coverage and control of the mid lane to do so.
Sure.
So as long as Ning and Rookie are responsive to him, the Shy is going to continue to snowball his gangplank.
And just a bit of a trade here. This could be long, actually. It knocks him out. That's going to be a flashback from the
terrible
Shy.
flash.
Now has to bring down the ultimate. Mouse will now start backing away. He's in Mega Form for a bit too long, but that's a lot of damage onto the Shy.
As we were just building him up, he decided to play so overly aggressive and take a very terrible trade, which loses him a lot of the momentum that he built in that lane, which is pretty bizarre. Normally the Shy is recognized for such clean lane phases, pretty much getting the 1v1 over everyone in the LPL.
I mean, also that's one of the most scripted things that Gnar can possibly do. You see the rage bar go up over the last 30 seconds. It's not like it's like, oh, he just immediately jumped on me. It's like, no, he was building up rage for the entire wave. So a little bit surprising there from the Shy, but to be fair, first game back on to this stage at the very least.
How many stopwatches do we have? 9? No, less than 9. 7.
I think that counted. I think
1, 2,
7.
3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7.
Quick maths.
Inspiration tree. Hold on though. We'll hold the thought as Tom
Yeah,
Kinch.
you don't really need to do that. Like
Still
Battlelands and
ruining
then
League of
later Sam
Legends.
Kench, like, he's still there, don't worry about it.
I keep seeing Shin, I'm like, maybe. He has Hex Splash.
Unless they're jumping on, yeah, he does have Hex Flash, and he's been using it pretty consistently as well. We just haven't been watching lane while he's been using it.
Okay, inspiration tree. I think the
Just keep going, Frost.
I don't know why.
Just keep going.
can't-
I know you shoot the Shadow Dash and you're just like, I've got to stop. Just keep going.
Well, the point is that the inspiration tree is broken just because of how much free gold. Like, the fact that we're in this game and there's 7 stopwatches, and everyone's used to hearing that. But it's in tandem with the resolve tree. I actually don't like the fact that Kahlua took Aftershock. I actually think it's much better to go for the unsealed spellbook just because of all the free things that you get there, even though you are a Shin support, and then take Resolve secondary tree, because you still get the tankiness from the Resolve tree in terms of the flat health, because of the inspiration tree giving that added trait benefit, which I just think is part of, like, everyone talks about all the free gold, you know, you get the kick-ass boots, you get the stopwatch, you've got Futures Market if you want, like, there's so much utility there, but the fact that you just get more AD or AP or health as your secondary trait is absurd to me. Like, why did we give that for free?
There you go, Balan. Just eat them up again. Yeah.
So I think there's almost no excuse. I know people were kind of, you know, poking fun at Soaz at All-Stars when he ran Inspiration Resolve on Maokai. They're like, why would you ever do that?
Guy was a Time Lord.
Yes, total Genja moment. I think he was actually a genius. So Soaz, I am so sorry.
Yep.
You truly
You get
were.
our respect from the LPL crew to you. But no, there's a reason why, you know, tank matchups are so prevalent in the top lane right now, and you only really get like a Gangplank and some Malawi and some of these random picks come out, is because you get so much health. 145 extra health is absurd by running both of those two trees.
And really the only type of Resolve Keystone that a lot of them are running is Grasp.
Oh, Doinby, he rushes through this one, but he has actually cut off Ning from his escape path. In comes Balan from the bottom lane, and Kahlua jumps on top of Doinby using his ultimate.
That looked a little bit funny, but it did work out for them, and Ning
Nope, not taking that route.
right in the eye. He's
Yeah.
like, oh!
It's not like he could see anything anyway.
Oh, hold on.
Again, the Shy.
Bet you wish she had Flash.
I wish you had Flash. He's fine. Fortunately, in Mega Form, there's not a lot of chase potential, but now he is actually in kill range underneath this tower without oranges.
Yeah, but the thing is that he feels safer because he knows no one can join them. It's now bottom lane.
Good flash from Jackie. He's going to be taunted up, but
Don't
in
do
comes
it!
Baolan, and this is going to be a long, long chase, locked in place, and that will be a kill onto Kahlua. First blood to IG.
Oh, the overstep and the teleport's like, you're not completing that. Okay, so we finally got some action. Tom Kinch still ruined the day, but he didn't gobble someone up.
Yep.
That's why you got to keep track of back timers, people. They obviously knew that the support wasn't there. They thought that they had an opening. Wasn't what they wanted, and now top lane. Take it. Be a man.
That was an ambitious Q. Ning got to kick against the wall. That's almost 100-0 damage from Ning. Caught him out in the bush, jumps over the wall, follow-up of the ward jump.
So level 8 to level 7, not terrible. The thing, though, is that Lee Sin into Nidalee, Nidalee doesn't have a damaging spell for her ultimate. So the thing is a lot of Lee Sins will play out this combo where they'll just get level 6 and then they'll just walk into Nidalee's jungle and be like, hey, remember those times where you were super obnoxious? Yeah, I'm just going to kick you in the face and there's nothing you can do because my damage is now so much larger than yours. Happened at level 8 this time around, but you saw it right there. Ning is not messing around.
That's a lot of damage. The Shy is still in the top lane. He has TP. He could have gone back, but he's going to stick around.
But it was that confidence where the Shy knew that, yes, theoretically he could have been Dovin, but because his jungle and his mid lane are in so much control, it allows him that safety to be greedy, to continue to grab and scrape away as much gold as he can before being forced to use that TP. So, again, IG just super stable through their mid-jungle duo that is offering safety to their other side lanes.
I get it, but it still makes me clench. I watch him, and he's just like on 100 HP, and you are so close to dying. It is unreal.
Are you afraid of the mouse?
I really am. I mean, he had kill pressure. He made that play earlier, and he's got almost a 3-wave advantage over the Shy. But that being said, Kleptomancy is obviously going to even that one up. Back to the mid lane. Haven't checked on that one in a while, and there's actually an even bigger CS lead opening up. 30 farm at 12 minutes is gigantic.
Doesn't feel great. That said, Rookie does also have the Spell Thief, so he is getting some of that bonus gold every time he makes a little bit of those trades. So it's actually worse than just the CS counter in terms of his gold advantage over Doinby's Azir.
But it feels pretty bad because this is essentially the 2v2 in the mid lane jungle losing on RW to IG, and we were very much talking about that at pregame, talking about how that should be doing well.
And so much of it was actually, again, I feel that it was started by Flawless having the wrong read on which lane he was going to prioritize. Again, usually with Nidalee, it's about tracking and hunting the enemy jungler, making him, or not allowing him to have as much impact on the map. Flawless chose bottom, and frankly, from, minute 3, that's really set them behind because Ning's then had the advantage.
Very much showed itself. I mean, Ning hasn't needed to do too much apart from a reaction gank and just get a kill from it. We're spending a lot of time topside, but it's just a GP lane, guys. Like, this is the one of the ones that it's fine not looking at, I'm always like, look at the top lane. Why aren't we looking at the top lane? But he's just going to farm with Q.
I just want to look at the junglers. I feel like that's where still all of the action is. Although, as I say that, the Shen and Tom Kinch lane got a kill, so...
True. I'm not very good at lottery here.
To this day, I still don't know how it happened.
So what have we got SMLZ going towards? Got to build his Water Cutlass, so going for that early Blades of the Ruined King.
And a very early Rage Blade completed for Jackie.
That is early. 14 minutes. Yeah, probably look towards the Wit's End, I'm sure, after that, especially into Doinby and Flawless.
Oh, yeah. So much magic damage that he needs to deal with. I don't mind. So here's the thing. There's obviously 2 different ways that you can itemize Varus. You can go for more of the traditional crit build, or you can go for the Rage Blade Wits In, which is obviously good for longer sustained fights, so they'll hold the point.
Yeah, the Shy underneath his tower needs to dodge the spear, in which he does. Teleport is also being used out from the mid lane there by Doinby. And this is an instant reaction from Ning just to take the dragon. The Shy will go back in. That spear's gonna land. Flawless needs to get in range for the execute, but he's got the perfect timing. Flawless again, lands another spear, last auto attack. The Shy doesn't have anything else in the bank. Mouse chasing him after he's running away from the tower now, buying a bunch of time, but ultimately going down.
But that's the story of this game, because while the Yakety Sacks were happening up into the top lane, there was massive wins for IG down in the bottom side of the map, picking up both the dragon and a tower to follow. So yes, they lose out on getting the first tower benefit, but they get so much more across map.
Yeah, Doinby just wants to put a bearded chip down onto mid lane. He's going to have to run away as Jackie lands a nice ultimate onto SMLZ. Kahlua is doing what he can to at least stop Tam Kench from getting damage down onto his AD carry as well.
Ning was hunting. He's decided to curve back towards mid lane, but he was actually on his way towards that bottom lane. So IG, they are not slowing down. Pedal to the metal, and they're going to drive this through the Nexus.
I mean, right now they're still pushing the bottom lane. AD carry didn't even take any damage, and Jackalov spat out of the stomach and still attacking.
And they have the confidence to do it because even though Ning isn't participating bottom, he's at least giving them vision that no one is coming to Shin and Kallista's aid. Now topside.
Good ultimate from Shen right there, and that's going to be the sweep.
Oh, that was sick.
That was a good kill there, but Ning should be falling here. There's no one to jump to, nowhere to go. Oh, there was over the wall, but unfortunately the auto attack followed him from Mouse.
So 1-for-1 trade, but it's about where that kill gold goes, and unfortunately it actually went on Ning. I would have preferred that kill obviously be transferred over to Rookie, but the rest of IG have grouped up, and they're going to try to siege on this tower. And with Azir dead, that's so much wave clear gone.
Counter wave as well. Got the zoning ignite, I like to call it, from Baolan. He's going to get knocked into the tower though. He's going to have to pop that grey health for just the last second. But the tower goes down, and that's what counts.
And again, IG ballooning their gold lead. It's about now 2K in their favor, and it should be Rift-tailed and top tower as kind of the next big setup point. So making their reset, and then probably going to be placing their vision, which RWE, they know this. It's now, do they feel strong enough that they can contest or hold off?
Asmalsi will get a bit of time in the bottom lane to just farm, but he's not really going to be able to push up to the tower because now the Shy will pick up this nice, big, juicy mini wave.
Because there's these are the options. I was actually really curious. Now that Flawless has made his back, it's clear that they're just going to probably farm this out, maybe poke a little bit about the Rift-tailed, but they could have sent Kalista, Shin, and Nidalee down for a trap to try to kill the GP, and then traded the Rift-tailed and top tower for bottom tower if they felt they weren't strong enough to look for the fight.
Alternatively, Rogue Warriors looking for this gank onto the bottom side. The Shy not using his oranges just yet. In fact, he's turning this one around, or at least he's trying to fight, though he's not doing a lot of damage. I was expecting someone else to be there because he wasn't just running for the hills and going back, though Mouse will unfortunately down on the top side, making it a 1-for-1 cross-map trade.
Yeah, just bad synergy right there. There's no reason for Mouse to get caught. It was pretty clear the team were like, we can't fight Rift-tailed. We're not strong enough to 5v5. We're going to trade objectives. And Mouse is like, what? Stand at the objective and die for free? Got it.
No worries. I can do that. Though mid lane looks like it might actually be traded from Flawless and Doinby. Bot side also taking a bunch of damage. Surely the Herald should go over to IG and the top tower, but it's actually a somewhat comparable trade because of the top side being traded.
Yeah, and RW are taking full control of this bottom side jungle. They probably won't push through simply because they don't have the minion wave, but they may be able to play on that vision later when the next rotation of blue buff comes up.
Yeah, the top tower's going to fall, and everything else will resolve itself. But yeah, it is about the blue buff now that will go over to Rookie.
Yeah, and it's because this blue buff is being taken away, so naturally they want to recover something for Doinby and Flawless. So we'll see if they can make use of that control vision and triangle vision that they've placed over IG's blue buff.
Ning will also get the full top side as well on top of that, so it pushes in the wave. And IG still maintaining that 2,000 gold advance. In fact, it's evened up just a little to Rogue Warriors because of that extra tower they managed to reclaim in the bottom side. But it's now about this Herald and what they can do with it.
Yeah, and it's also about now that since the map has opened up so much, it's going to be that vision war that is so important towards the mid game. And Invictus Gaming's composition really does thrive there. They have the GP, they have the Syndra, they have the Varus, as well as the Tahm Kench. Pretty much, they are super good at moving into an area, denying all of your vision, and then just setting up a trap and waiting for you to walk into it. So as this map continues to open up, IG are very strong right now just because of the kit that their champions have.
And Jackalov's still farming up as well. He's hit his 2-item power spike on the Wit's End. Rookie, how's he doing? He's got his 2 items. Frost Queen Claim picked up on the Syndra.
I think he's going Void Staff 3rd item, so he'll have double penetration. I've seen it on a lot of the Syndras, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of magic resist that has been picked up yet. There's Merc Treads, and then Kalua as well, but I guess it's just getting ahead of the curve here.
Okay, but I was actually checking Rookie's solo queue just to kind of figure out what he was doing with his build paths, what he does with his runes. And I did notice that occasionally, more often than not, he would go 3rd item penetration on a Syndra, despite what the matchup was. And I know that there was a lot of conversation, you know, as we changed to the new rune system, that champions that build double AP were actually doing more damage than before, although Freak has a great video kind of about the math around that. But we'll keep our eye on what Rookie does. Yeah,
you're also talking to me earlier about what Rookie runs in terms of rune pages, which was really interesting to me.
He runs Transcendence Gathering Storm on majority of his champions, actually, which I find very interesting in the confidence of, you know, that you're sacrificing so much of your ability in the lane phase for late game scaling, which is either Rookie saying, we're never going to finish a game early enough, so Gathering Storm may actually be a viable rune for me to take, or I am so confident in my ability to beat you in lane phase without any other benefit that I can afford to just make sure that I'm as strong as possible post-lane phase.
Which is really interesting, right? Because Gathering Storm is just a pickup generally in solo queue, just I never would I go towards that.
I think Papa Smithy gave it the most accurate name, and he called it the Jin Air Mastery.
Because
they always go to like 55-minute games, so you like see Jin Air, you're like, yep, it's going to be a Gathering Storm game.
I mean, in some games, especially in competitive, when you can predict did that actually just happen?
And he blast cones the wrong way.
I'm just going to call that the style cone right there, and Flawless, he's actually just laughing so hard right now. Actually,
well done.
How much damage does a max range spear do at this level? Because I don't think it's very comparable to Smite, but it can't out-damage Smite, surely.
And you can see that Ning knew that that was a possibility because of where he was positioned in the pit.
It just came from a different angle.
Unfortunately, Lee Sin is blind, so he couldn't see that literally fly right in front of his face.
Yeah, that's the reason. Well, that feels pretty bad, but at least it was just an Ocean Dragon compared to what else it could be. We're going to have another Ocean Dragon coming up next.
But Ocean Dragon is so good on RW's composition. They've got Nidalee and Azir. They just want to sit in a lane phase for as long as possible and just poke.
Look, I'm just trying to look at the silver lining. That's what Clement was teaching me
earlier.
earlier.
The silver lining was an Ocean Dragon.
Just look at the silver lining, Force. That's all you need to do. Close your eyes. Don't look at the game.
No, it stung. Just as much as this Rift Herald walk.
Where did he place it? Place it in the river.
It's not great.
Here we go.
It's not a great Rift Herald.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that a solid 3.
Out of 10?
Yes. Would it be better if I said out of 5?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes.
I actually feel like 3 out of 5 is still just as bad.
3 out of 5 is average, but like, that was not great. Ning looking for the engage. He's going to instantly flash away, though, as the ultimate was used by Joinby. Teleport used by Kalu. He was expecting him to be jumped on.
Oh,
Rocky
flash.
pushes forward. That's a bunch of damage on SMLZ. Unleash power as well. Great
stopwatch.
Perfect timing on the stopwatch. But he's going to get caught out regardless. Rocky still places down the damage, and they're shoved out of the jungle.
Yeah, I feel like his team kind of left him to die. Yes, the stopwatch came through, but that then meant that he had a giant bullseye like, hey, I'm about to pop out of invulnerability right here. What needed to happen is if Kahlua felt comfortable, that the Shen steps up and is able to either find the taunt or dissuade them. So IG's subpar Rift Herald actually pulled RW out of their jungle. They then rotated into the red buff immediately and then made the Rift Herald work for them. So it was just kind of like a...
Yeah, we meant to do that.
Like a... What do they call it in CSGO? Like
it's a feature, not a bug. What?
Feature, not a bug. Like a flash grenade?
A flashbang?
Something to like, to distract them.
Right.
Smoke them out as a smoke grenade. Can you tell that I play FPS?
No. Something to distract them? It's absolutely a flashbang. Wait for a smoke out to distract them. Baron's just doing a bunch of damage to Flawless.
And it's still going.
He's angry today. There we go. Azir placing his turret up in mid lane as well. So kind of some artificial pressure.
Uh-oh.
They've started it. And actually they've cleared out all the vision as well. There's got to be an inkling. Yeah, that here comes the teleports from IG. They know this is happening. Azir burns this very quickly, but it's down to half and they back away.
Yeah, and Invictus Gaming are actually split as well. They've got 2 members on top side, most of the members on the bottom side. So very lucky that RW actually didn't have enough vision on the back side of the pit, because if they had known that IG were split like that, then you just pick which one that you're going to collapse on.
I like the idea, though, from Rogue Warriors, just in case IG do not react fast enough.
But then you lost both your teleports, and the difference is one of them has a global ultimate. So Mouse trading teleport for GP is still in favor of Invictus Gaming, because Mouse has to be there for those team fights. The Shy doesn't.
True. And they also have Kahlua. I guess he's not much of a split pusher. And Rookie hasn't swapped up to his teleport as well.
You take that back.
Unseal spellbook.
Kahlua can split push.
I mean, he can, but without anything that will help him, like a Sunfire Cape or Titanium Hydra, is going to take literally half a century.
I was actually having this conversation backstage during Series 1, this idea that the supports, you know, now that all the 80 carries are taking Relic Shield, like, how often do you see a support with 98 CS? Like, think of how much gold they have. They have more gold than they've ever had before in this game. They're completing items so much earlier than they used to.
So what you're saying is they should just build carry.
Sunfire Cape and split push as Baron attempt number 2.
I would like to see it, because currently Clue is essentially just a promoted minion if he tries to go to a side lane.
That's rude.
I mean, it's true. Push it so slowly.
It
Now
does
Rookie
mean that
pushing up.
he can unlock himself from Callista, even though you don't usually want to separate from Callista because then her ultimate pretty much means nothing. But because he is the Shin, it does give him that cool opportunity that he can tag team with other people and then move over and join his team with
But
Stand
also,
United.
he can taunt flash directly onto Rookie. He will jump away, but the Ignite's still ticking. I'm actually not sure if he can survive this one. It's going to be the last tick, and it's not going to be enough to finish him off. And now Joinby's overextended because of this play. Kalua's already dead. Jackie Love and Ning were looking for the chase.
And so much was extended for that for Rogue Warriors, and the Shy, again, had all of that free time bottom. He ate up, I think, 2.5 waves to himself, and now forces Mouse to come join him. And again, he doesn't have his ultimate, but it's going to be up sooner than that teleport cooldown will be.
IG starts up the Baron. Bot side is being pushed in from the Shy as well.
Rock in a hard place. Look at Mouse. He's like, split-second
don't know
decision.
where to go.
Do I go bottom? Do I go to the Baron? What's happening?
And it looks like he just lost from both walls right there. I mean, bot tower is literally a hair's breadth away from going down. Now he's in the 1 versus 1 trade, but the teleport on top of him as well. And they actually, it looks like they're going to kill the Shy. He's actually walked into the turret. He's 100% dead. IG, they need to engage right now in this 4 versus 3, and they do get Flawless. They take out the jungler. Rogue Warriors, they essentially just had to do nothing in that scenario and it would have been a win, but now the Spooky Ghost, it's connected onto Doinby. He takes the tower shot and the slowdown as well from Jackie Love. Just needs to get a range for the lick. Waiting on Baolan if he can connect it, and that is essentially the death sentence for Doinby. Jackie Love will finish him off.
And you were correct there, Pulse. He said all RW need to do is just make sure that the Baron doesn't go down. But unfortunately, IG saw that the Shy had been caught out and then turn and find a pick of their own. And we continue with this Harlem Shake of Barons.
Well, it is the LPL after all, but IG, it looks like they have finally wrestled control of the area. Started up the Baron, and there's a small contest courtesy of SMLZ and Kahlua. Rookie is the one doing zoning duty right now. Kahlua stepping up to the pick. Good ultimate from the Shy, zoning away Mouse, and more importantly, the Squishies. And I think at this point in time, Mouse is the squishy one because Rookie essentially just soloed him with that amount of damage.
And he did that with that ultimate because he burned the ult on SMLZ. So absurd damage coming out of Syndra right now. Burns the ult, forces SMLZ completely out of the fight, and then a great zoning ultimate from the Shy. IG are just running away with this game.
It really just came away from that last fight as well. And Rookie, well, that spear actually did nothing. Rookie will take this tower, and that's just the power of Gathering Storm. The fact he's level 17 right now, and he's got triple item. May even have more at this point in time as he looks to go back to base. And Flawless, try and find something in the bottom jungle, at least get his camps and take red buff, but even that's being warded now by GP.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, this is kind of the curse of Nidalee. If you don't make that big statement, that big impact in the early game, you just fall over. And so now they're completely reliant on Doinby and SMLZ as any sort of gateway back into this game. And unfortunately, Azir's only sitting on 3 items.
And pretty much I'm just looking at Doinby because SMLZ, if you compare him to Jackie Love, it's almost no contest. Dragon's going to be started as well.
Yeah, the damage comparison between the carries of Rogue Warriors versus IG is not looking good for RW fans.
Yeah, 100%. And just to go back to your point, it just feels like RW, the windows in which they need to exploit have well and truly closed at this point in time, and they are just scrambling to try and find a fight or a pick or, you know, all the classic comeback mechanics.
Yeah, and so now it's the Wombo combo. Because they do have Azir and Gnar, there's still incredible setup for them, a Wombo combo, and then you know, throw in Kalista ultimate on top of that. But unless it's the miracle setup, it should be just a clean out from IG. And what's really the nail in the coffin is how good IG are being about clearing out the vision on their flanks, making sure that there's no opportunity that, you know, like a Shen taunt or something catches them off guard as they slowly move the waves forward.
I mean, even Jackie Love can afford to start pushing up here because he's got that Guardian Angel and he's got Baolan. Like, he's got multiple layers of protection here. So it's not like he's going to be in too much of a bad situation whatsoever.
But this is interesting because it gives us finally a good look at Rogue Warriors against a top team. You know, it was hard to really gauge them against TOP because it was just the caliber of their opponent.
Right.
Now we get their look against someone like Invictus Gaming.
Well, the tower being pushed in, there's the ultimate being used by the Shy as well, and that's definitely something I'd like to check in after the end of this series, because this has, to be fair, been one game, but you can see some of the footprints, right, in game 1 of how, like, the jungle matchup worked and how Flawless was affecting his pathing and how top lane was going. Like, you can start to piece it together, but let's give them another game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think this one is is a dying candle, just a dying little flame about to be
With
smothered.
the fishes. But they've got a bit more time. Ultimate used on SMLZ. I guess the call right there
The
was
desperation.
to instantly jump on Rookie, but that's very much a nope as they see the Abyssal Voyage, expecting someone else to be with Baolan.
I believe that was the Shin ultimate and the Kalista ultimate used there to try to get Rookie, to which he did the classic walk away.
Yep. And he had Flash as well, so it's not like he was ever really in any trouble of dying.
And now they're just gathering the waves. So there's no reason to be bot lane. Naturally, that one's going to push in itself because it has the super creep. So they man mode in the middle lane, force RW again to respond to them, and then team back up with the Shy on the top side of the map.
This is just by the book right now from IG. Spear was good, but it didn't do any damage.
Normally, we don't see this type of tempered patience from a team like Invictus Gaming. You know, hold on. Maybe I hold my breath.
As Jackie Love just walks up to the tower by himself.
Normally you see the AD carry try to fight Azir with his teeth, you know, something like that. Invictus Gaming are known for getting leads like this and then kind of carelessly playing with them, making overly aggressive plays or flashy plays when they didn't need to, and then turning their own tables. So I do like that we are seeing more of a matured Invictus Gaming. Like it feels like the reins on Ning are a little bit tighter.
I mean, we saw that as well when they played against RNG in their first match that they played this week, and it was very much like they were taking that more tempered approach. And in that first game specifically, the one that they won, it was very good. They didn't just instantly dive the tower. It's like, now we should go in. It's like, no, we should actually just push it slow, take the tower, get the objective, go to the next objective, and we have seen that this game as well.
Yeah, but they do need to be a bit careful. Yes, they still have a massive lead, just closing in on a 10k gold lead in favor of Invictus Gaming, but I never want to discount Azir because his late game damage output is just absolutely disgusting, and I feel like Doinby, with how aggressively he's sliding forward, is starting to recognize that he's getting a lot of that power in his items coming out.
100% he'll start hitting those squishies for a bunch of damage. You saw him just get a few seconds with Jackie Love and what that turns into. But that front line is so damn tanky. Even Baolan as well in that bottom lane. The amount of extra gold he's managed to accrue this game has just turned into so many tank items.
And it's actually very hard for IG to siege this not having the Baron buff any longer because they are looking at it as Azir. They pretty much have to make sure that he is dead, otherwise they're never going to crack these towers without the Baron. And again, the longer this game goes on, the more opportunity that Rogue Warriors have to fight around the Baron pit, the more options that they can get that miracle wombo combo to turn the tides of this game.
And when you actually look at this game, it's coming up in 90 seconds. The tower's still alive. There's no inhibitor. Well, there's an inhibitor bot lane down, but they're still able to keep this one up. So IG at some point will have to loop back towards the Baron, and they have a smattering of wards in the top side. But
I'm actually feeling a little bit nervous for IG. Like I shouldn't, because they're still well in control. But I'm like, I feel like I've seen this many times before.
Just don't think back to 2017. This is new year. I mean, to be fair, we do this a lot. It's like, I will not get hyped about IG. I will not get hyped about IG. This time, actually, I think I can get hyped about IG.
2018 is supposed to be their year where they finally cross that threshold into actual Dark Horse. You know, they have probably unrivaled some of the best talent position for position. Now having the hype ADC Jackie Love, it was supposed to be the cherry on top, the sprinkles, that one intangible missing to get them to Worlds.
And they have looked better for sure. I mean, we've already mentioned the facts that make them look good, the tangibles that we have seen in this game, and do the series this week. But the fact that they haven't finished yet is the clincher. Like, we're 35 minutes in, there's going to be another Baron, there's another small chance, and yes, it's like a 15% chance for RW, but it's still 15 more percent than zero.
It's increasing dramatically, though, as the game goes on. Okay, so here we go. They were locked into sieging for a minute 20 when they didn't want to, when they didn't have Baron. Now that the Baron has spawned back in, they can then start fighting over a real objective. Now it's how patient are Invictus Gaming? How much have they learned? Will they actually take the time to set up their waves, get it pushing against Rogue Warriors, and not take a 50-50 5v5, and instead just take the objective that should be free based on their macro map control?
Well, they haven't immediately jumped in. What is that barrel setup? Is that triple barrels?
That's the triple barrel.
It's so it can't initially get cleared. That's actually pretty interesting.
Okay, this is what I didn't necessarily want to see, but we're going for it.
They haven't gone all the way in yet, so Well, not back to
They're
full
waiting
IG.
for the big wave to push top side, and I think they're going to tilt, or excuse me, shift top.
Accelerate it, yep.
Yeah. Oh. And you can see Ning, he's trying to zone for
And
Rookie.
they've already engaged. Kahlua jumps in there onto Baolan. He sees Rookie in the top side. Fate's Call used defensively here. Q-land by Ning. Is he going to do it? He's got a couple seconds left. Waits up the timer.
Meganar is going to fall off soon, so RW missed a pretty big window where they could be explosive in a team fight. And this is interesting.
What the? IG have just rotated instantly to top side. They have two members there, and Rookie's actually blocking anyone who can move up. This is a creative way of actually knocking down the tower. Though the rest of the team is important. They don't get caught right here because they are on the top side. They're completely split. RW, they've found the jungler. Falls into his Guardian Angel. Can they get him out? Because he will have the safeguard. Flashes away as well. But keep in mind that RW are on the other side. Like, they're fighting from the wrong sides of the map right now.
I'm really on the fence of if I'm like really for this play and very excited about it, and it's still evolving. I feel like I'm literally watching like a Picasso painting being completed. I'm like, I don't know if the eye really goes there. Okay, here we go.
More like Bob Ross. Is it ruined? Is it saved? We're about to find out. Kahlua jumps in onto Baolan. He jumps away, knocked into the wall. Rookie, takes a big spear out from the jungler. He has been gobbled up by Baolan. Catching a second and gets the shove away. In comes Mouse once more. Baolan, he's very low, but he's still alive somehow. And Rookie kiting around. What an absolute hero. 4-0 to IG. Make it the 5-1.
Okay, so that was a happy little team fight. It was actually a masterpiece that Invictus Gaming had put together. Very creative macro play there, using the Tahm Kench ultimate. Again, drawing Rogue Warriors out of the place that they had set up camp and will now end the game.
And it all comes to this. It all accumulates to the game win. Both Nexus turrets will be falling. And IG, it was a creative way to win the game because they knew they couldn't just straight up siege. They pressured the Baron and they take game one. Nexus falls. GG, IG.
And this is what we need to see from Invictus Gaming to take them into status of Dark Horse. They can't just be a good team anymore. They have to be a smart team.
We saw a lot of that this game. And it is a bit of a head scratcher there from Doinby. Because after that early game kind of went awry, the jungle, the mid matchup didn't work out for Rogue Warriors. So there wasn't a whole lot that they could do. They tried their hearts out. They could stall, and yes, it was just like there's a point in this game that maybe Azir gets to the point where he starts ripping everyone apart. But unfortunately, Rook was too far ahead. Bot lane was too far ahead. It's kind of snowballed out of control from there. However, this is a series that's 100% not done. This is definitely one that could go all the way. Welcome back, Raz, to the desk. How are you feeling about that game?
Feeling good. At first it was uneasy because the best thing or the worst thing about Azir is that you can never feel confident. Doesn't matter how far ahead you are. How are you going to wave clear mid lane? It's like, okay, maybe we can split push him. Maybe we can try and gerrymander it, go towards the bottom side of the map. And then you're like, well, actually, Gnar is defending that quite confidently, doing quite well. It's like, oh, hard. Let's go towards Baron. And so it ended on a Baron fight. Excellent for IG. But it really was a Baron fight where you're like, oh my god, this is not controlled. It was smart. It was smart to go for the inhibitor. That was that one smart opening. But you even saw that Gnar ultimate right into the wall. The Nidalee spear right on top of Rookie. That could have ended very poorly. But it didn't. IG took the win.
But it didn't. I think it's pretty much the
But it
game
did.
in a nutshell. But it did. It could have gone wrong, but it didn't. And IG, I want to get to the point where it's just like IG, they won and they just got it. You know,
Yes.
they were always in control of the game and they just won the game.
It's like Invictus Gaming are never going to be a team where they have this, you know, like 3, 4, 5 minute brilliant setup where you see that like all like a chess master, like their pieces being moved into position and then suddenly they have, you know, like they reveal their ultimate plan.
Yeah.
It's just like it's split-second reactions, and their split-second reactions can be brilliant until it gets really drawn out for 45 seconds. It's like, ooh, was this a good play? Was this a bad play?
Yeah.
Because that was scary for probably 35 seconds.
It really was. And at the very least, there was some brilliance to, you mentioned it. There was a controlled brilliance when it came to IG. I felt like their 20 minutes was so solid.
Yeah.
It started in the bottom lane. I loved Varus and Tahm Kench. There's no way you win that 2v2 if you're the side of Rogue Warriors. They recognized that when they were just losing trades. They were taking the trades, and they were definitely losing those fights.
They gave it one more go, Raz, though. Shim was like, I think I got her. And then Gana went for it. Was like, never mind. Tom
No,
Kench is
I'm
there.
out. Peace. Goodbye. That's all it is. And then here's what's really smart about this. Rookie in the mid lane has Syndra versus Azir. How the matchup goes, Azir at the very least has the way, just push the lane. You have the wave clear against Syndra. Syndra tries to kind of impact it by trying to force trades and poke in the lane. Problem is, Rookie went towards the spellbook route, and he has Minion Dematerializer. And when you have Minion Dematerializer, you don't play by those same rules anymore. Suddenly you're an Azir that just loses in clearing the wave. And so there was control mid lane for Invictus Gaming, there was control bottom lane for Invictus Gaming, and even though you had the Nidalee was the focal point. She goes towards top lane. That could have been really good for Rogue Warriors, and they could have had a really solid top side of the map.
Bottom!
That's true, but he had one opportunity. One chance, walked into a bush, got kicked and blown up. It was so sad to see that kind of fly away from him. So overall, Rogue Warriors could have had it. They were very close to having a winning top side of the map. Didn't happen, so the winning top side, or at least bottom side of the map for JackeyLove comes through.
And that's our man of the match, JackeyLove. He'll take the MVP here on his Varus plate, no less, as well, Frosk.
What? Don't get me wrong, that's a sick KDA, 6-0-5, and JackeyLove did his job, but I felt like Ning and Rookie were actually where this game was won.
I would say both Ning and Rookie definitely had an excellent game. It's definitely tough when it comes to these man of the match moments because the stats were on the side of JackeyLove because he was doing really well in lane along with Bao Lan. And it's one of those moments where historically Invictus Gaming, they're not known for their bottom lanes. So that's why it's so surprising to see them.
Just happy to have an
it's
ADC
like, wait a
that
second.
got it.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, damn, I guess IG has a sick bottom lane. Bao Lan no longer has to actually roam. In fact, when they take bottom lane tower, they're going straight towards the second tower. It doesn't matter. So I thought this is a really nice style and a nice look from IG. This is their second set. First set didn't look too good going up against RNG, but you finally get to see what this team really looks like.
So I'm going to break this up for a second because I have an update from the other match. So spoiler alert, if you don't want to know what's happening, then cover your ears right now. Cover them, Raz. Except you can't because we've got a headset on. So LGD have lost game 1. So
Shocker.
Unfortunately, LGD still on that losing streak, which feels pretty bad starting another split in that kind of regard.
Yeah, I mean, they're in Hangzhou. They're in their own stadium, in front of their own crowd. That's how insane it is.
It was
17-2.
That is a shellacking. LGD are just getting thrashed in
and it's
their
by
home
Suning
stadium.
as well. Like, there's one of the teams you should be able to challenge if you're LGD.
It's like the fall of LGD. Like, they used to be, they started in 2015. They were like a top tier team. Like, they're going to Worlds. We can do it, boys. And then, of course, 2015 Worlds, we don't speak about that.
Nope.
But then they fell down to like a 5th place team. It's like, yeah, they're not great anymore, but they're still like a mid-tier team.
They
and
can propel back up.
Exactly. And now they have fallen down all the way to like bottom. Like, we are scraping the barrel right now for the last 2 years.
Yeah, but it just comes down to the fact that when it comes to scouting, looking for new talent, it is Suning that are doing it. In fact, they're upgrading themselves time and time again, and it seems like Suning might have a split for themselves.
But that's fantastic for Suning as well because they've only gotten better and better. But we're checking on that again after the break because we're going to a short one while we set up for game number 2 between these two teams.